Hey Reddit, throwaway account for obvious reasons. I'm not even sure what I'm looking for. Advice, validation. Maybe just a place to vent where people aren't going to feed me the usual relationships are hard BS. Because no, this wasn't just a rough patch. This was a slow burn betrayal that exploded in my face like a grenade I never saw coming. My wife, Lisa, and I have been married for 6 years. We started as best friends, roommates, turned lovers, we might as well get married. I thought we were good. We traveled a lot in our early years, shared a love for sushi, dumb documentaries, and got matching tattoos one drunk night in Croatia. Classic millennial romance. But about a year ago, things started to shift. Subtle stuff at first. She'd roll her eyes more when I talked about my day. She started spending more time at the gym, her new obsession, which was weird because the woman couldn't be bothered to walk our dog before. And she'd get super touchy if I asked simple questions like, "Hey, wanna watch a movie tonight?" Like I was interrogating her. I chalked it up to stress. Her job was intense, I get that. But you know when something just feels off? That gnawing pit in your stomach that says something's not right even when your brain is saying, "Don't be paranoid." Yeah, that feeling never left. Still, I pushed it down. Told myself I was overthinking. After all, we still laughed sometimes. She still kissed me goodnight. And if someone's still kissing you, they can't be lying to your face, right? Oh man, if only I knew how wrong I was. So here's where the universe decided to stop whispering and just slap me across the face. It was a Tuesday. Totally random. Nothing special about it. I had the day off work because of a systems outage at the office. Blessing in disguise, I guess. And Lisa had left early, saying she had a long spin class, and then was meeting her friend Carly for coffee. Cool, normal, no red flags yet. I was doing some cleaning, which, honestly, I only do when I'm either procrastinating or suspicious. This time, bit of both. Her gym bag was by the door, half zipped, and before anyone comes at me, no, I wasn't planning to snoop. I genuinely just moved it to vacuum and noticed something sticking out. A second phone. Yeah, second, freaking phone, not like an old one. It was on, had charge, looked newish, and I just stood there like an idiot holding it, staring at this stranger's life hiding in plain sight. I unlocked it. No passcode, amateur move. Lisa. And my stomach dropped harder than my GPA in college. Text after text after text. Some dude saved as Marcus Jim. Cute. With messages that made me want to throw the phone through the wall. Can't wait to see you later. Wear that black thing I like. He still doesn't suspect a thing? LOL. You're mine tonight. Can't stand pretending anymore. I just sat on the couch for an hour with that phone in my lap, like it was radioactive. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just went completely numb. Like my whole life had been one of those fake IKEA display rooms. Looked like home. Felt like home. But none of it was real. I checked the timestamps. She was texting him while lying in bed next to me, while watching movies, while we were walking our dog. It wasn't just betrayal. It was a double life. I wish I could say I had some big dramatic reaction. That I stormed out. That I called her right then and there. But nah, I froze. I just kept scrolling, digging, letting the poison seep in slowly. I didn't know who I was angrier at, her for doing it, or me for not seeing it sooner. So there I am, sitting on the couch like a man-shaped statue, holding her second phone like it's a ticking bomb, when I hear the front door open. Keys, light footsteps, that fake little hum she always did when she came home. I didn't move, didn't even blink. She walks in, tosses her bag on the counter, and starts with, "Hey babe." Carly says hi. Then she sees me. Then she sees the phone. Dead silence. Her eyes flicked from my face to the phone to the bag by the door, back to the phone, and I swear, in that exact second, I saw it. Her calculating. Not regret. Not fear. Just calculating what she was gonna say to spin this. And sure enough, she goes full Academy Award mode. "What are you doing going through my stuff?" No apology. No. Oh my god. Just straight up defensive like I was the one who just broke her heart. Me. "You have a second phone, Lisa." A whole ass second phone. Who is Marcus? She scoffs. Scoffs. "You seriously think I'm cheating because of some texts?" That's Carly's brother. We were just talking about gym stuff. I show her the texts. You'd think this would be the part where she breaks down, admits it, maybe even pretends to cry. Nope. She doubles down. "That's not even me texting. Carly borrowed my phone one time. You're making this into something it's not." I'm sitting there, still weirdly calm, like post-trauma calm, and I say, "You really expect me to believe you bought a second phone and gave it to Carly to sext her brother with?" And then she flips the script, starts yelling about how I never trust her, how I must be cheating if I'm being this paranoid, how our marriage has felt cold for months and it's probably my fault. At this point, I'm just staring at this woman, this absolute stranger in my wife's body, and wondering how long she's been rehearsing these lines. It ended with her storming out after saying, "I need space. You're suffocating me." Space. After I catch her with a second phone full of sex texts. That night, I didn't sleep. I didn't eat. I just sat there listening to our wedding playlist on loop like a complete idiot. So, after Lisa stormed out with her "You're suffocating me" line echoing behind her like a bad sitcom exit, I sat in that silence for hours. I mean real, bone-deep silence. No TV, no music, just me, the dog, who, by the way, was smart enough to side-eye her on the way out, and this crushing weight on my chest that wouldn't go away. Around midnight, I finally did something I'd been avoiding for weeks. I logged into our shared laptop. I don't know what I was expecting to find. Maybe nothing, but let me tell you, Lisa made it way too easy for someone who was juggling a whole damn affair. Emails, calendars, a secret Gmail account she must have forgotten was synced. I went down a rabbit hole, and it just never stopped. Turns out, Marcus was actually some guy named Ryan. Married, with kids. They'd been meeting at hotels, sometimes during the day while I was working from home. She'd pretend she was at a work meeting, and I was too naive to question it. She even used my name as the alias to check into one of the places. Like, wow, the audacity. Then came the Uber receipts. Dozens of them. Not on her main account, but on a backup email she used to reset a password once. And let me tell you, she wasn't going to the gym unless they moved it into a motel off the highway. By 3 a.m., I was shaking. Not from anger anymore, not even sadness. Just this hollow disbelief. Like I'd been watching a documentary about some other guy's crumbling life, and then realized, oh wait, that guy's me. I texted her one thing, just one sentence. "You need to be out by tomorrow. I'm done." She didn't reply. Not immediately, anyway. The next morning, she came back crying. Not tears of guilt, tears of inconvenience. Like I was ruining her life by not letting her gaslight me into believing she was just talking to someone. And you know what her excuse was this time? "You haven't made me feel sexy in months." I needed validation. Validation. From a married father of 2. That's when I knew. I wasn't dealing with someone who made a mistake. I was dealing with someone who thought I was the problem for catching her. So, after Lisa hit me with the "I needed validation" line, like she was a discount motivational speaker instead of a lying cheat, I just broke. Not in a screaming, throwing stuff kind of way. Worse, I went ice cold. You ever get so emotionally wrecked that you feel nothing? That was me. She was standing there, crocodile tears on her cheeks, trying to twist everything back on me, and I was already gone. I looked at her and didn't see my wife anymore. I saw a walking betrayal in yoga pants. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I just said, "Pack your stuff. I want you out by tonight." And that's when she really flipped. She went full meltdown mode. "You can't just kick me out of our house. Our dog is here. You don't get to control the narrative." Control the narrative. She actually said that, like she was planning to go full PR spin after wrecking our marriage. I called her bluff, told her she could leave peacefully, or I'd call her mom, who hates drama, and would have been at our place in 10 minutes flat with a box of holy water and judgment. She left, but not before dropping one last bomb. "Ask your friends what they knew. I'm not the only liar in your life." And that right there? That was the match on gasoline. I started texting, one by one, our mutuals, our close friends, even her gym buddy who always gave me weird vibes. And slowly, the truth started pouring out. Turns out, at least 3 people knew. Her coworker, who I always thought was shady, covered for her once when she said they were at a conference. One of our friends accidentally saw her kissing Ryan in the parking lot of a bar and never told me. Said he didn't want to get involved. And the worst? Carly, the same bestie she always claimed was her emotional rock, not only knew, encouraged it, said she deserved to feel alive. I felt like I'd been living in the Truman Show, except everyone was in on it except me. So I did what any man with zero dignity left would do. I group texted everyone. No rant, no insults. Just a screenshot of the text between her and Ryan, followed by, "If you were ever a real friend, you'd have told me. Don't bother reaching out now." That message was the match. The silence afterward? That was the explosion. After the group text nuked whatever shred of diplomacy I had left, things got real fast. Lisa didn't respond to the text, of course, but the fallout? Oh man, mutual friends either ghosted completely, probably out of guilt, or hit me with weak crap like, "I didn't know how to tell you," or "We thought it was just a fling." Like that somehow made it better? Anyway, I wasn't wasting energy on them. I had bigger fish to fry. Like, dividing up a life I thought I was building with someone honest. I contacted a lawyer that week. Nothing fancy, just someone my buddy recommended. I sat down across from this guy, shout out to Brad, the chillest divorce attorney in the state, and just unloaded everything. The phone, the texts, the secret Uber accounts, the affair partner being married with kids, all of it. Brad was unshook, just nodded, jotted things down, and said, Okay, you're not crazy. You've got receipts. We'll keep it clean unless she forces our hand. Problem? We weren't legally divorced yet, and technically, Lisa still had tenant rights to the apartment because it was in both our names. So I couldn't just change the locks like I wanted to. She had to either leave voluntarily, or I'd have to evict my own wife. But that wasn't even the worst part. The real war? The dog. Yeah, our rescue mutt, Charlie. Sweetest little beagle mix with a goofy smile and an unhealthy obsession with carrots. Lisa never even liked dogs. She tolerated Charlie because he was mine before we got together. But now? Suddenly she's like, he's emotionally bonded to me. You can't just take him. Lady, you forgot to feed him half the time. Don't act like your Mother Teresa of the kennel. She started playing dirty, showing up to get her stuff, dragging it out over days, and trying to sneak in cuddle sessions with Charlie like that would win him over. For the record, he growled at her once, and I've never been prouder. Eventually, I had to get the lawyer involved again. Drafted an agreement. She got her yoga mat collection and air fryer. I got my dog, peace of mind, and my dignity, what little remained. She tried to guilt me, claimed I was being cruel, that we could co-parent the dog. I laughed out loud. Lisa, you can't co-parent a dog when you forgot his birthday 2 years in a row. She left, finally, for good. And Charlie? He's been sleeping curled up next to me ever since. No judgment, no lies, just the occasional snore. So you know how sometimes you think the story's over, you've had your heartbreak, the drama peaked, the enemy fled, and you're finally just settling into the quiet after the storm? Yeah, nah. One afternoon, maybe a week after Lisa finally left for good, I get a knock at the door. Charlie barks like the little doorbell he is, and I shuffle over in my sweatpants, expecting a delivery. Instead, there's this woman standing there, arms crossed, sunglasses on, looking like she just stepped out of an HBO revenge drama. She takes off her glasses and says, "You don't know me, but I think our spouses have been sleeping together." Yeah, Ryan's wife. Her name's Vanessa, and she had screenshots. Apparently, she'd been suspicious for months too. Thought something was weird with Ryan's phone always flipping screen down, the sudden, late-night runs, the gym membership he never used. Sound familiar? She eventually did what I did, went full Sherlock. Found burner texts, track locations, put the pieces together. And here's the kicker. She found me because she saw one of my group texts. Someone in the mutual friend turned coward circle sent her a screenshot. Small world when you're surrounded by spineless people, I guess. So now I'm sitting in my kitchen, across from this incredibly composed woman drinking black coffee, swapping trauma stories like two war vets. She's not crying, not shaking, just pissed, like clinically calm rage. She'd already kicked Ryan out, called his boss. Yep. Apparently he was using company hours for his hookups and frozen his accounts. I figured you should know, she said. Also, if they're still seeing each other, maybe we make their lives harder. Just a thought. And listen, I'm not a petty man, but in that moment, I was ready to wear the crown. We didn't go full nuclear or anything. No flaming dog poop or keen cars. But we did coordinate a little truth bomb. She sent Lisa a message that simply said, "Thanks for the husband. Just a heads up. I'm keeping the house, the kids, the car, and I sent your text to your gym. Hope Ryan's worth it." I didn't even have to do anything. Lisa called me that night in a full-on meltdown, screaming about how I betrayed her by teaming up with that psycho. I told her, calmly, "You blew up your life. I just watched the fireworks." Click. Blocked. Done. Vanessa and I stayed in touch for a while. We weren't trauma bonding or anything weird, but there's something oddly healing about talking to the only other person who truly understood what it felt like to be blindsided by your supposed forever. Sometimes she sends me memes. Sometimes I send her Charlie pics. We root for each other quietly, from the wreckage. So after the nuclear fallout, the affair exposed, the dog secured, Lisa banished, and Vanessa, aka Karma with a latte, swooping in like a tactical strike, I expected to feel better immediately. Spoiler. I didn't. At least not right away. There's this weird quiet that follows betrayal. Not peace. More like a vacuum. Like your brain's been on high alert for so long that when it finally gets silence, it doesn't know what to do with it. I kept waiting for the next twist, another text, a surprise visit, maybe a crying voicemail. But nothing came. Lisa had vanished. Ryan was presumably living in his buddy's basement eating cold takeout and wondering how life hit him like a freight train. I started healing. Slowly, sloppily. There were nights where I'd still reach for my phone, half expecting some half-assed apology from her. Then I'd remember, people who feel sorry don't double down on their lies, they own them. Charlie helped. Every morning, that dog woke up wagging his tail like nothing ever went wrong. Like he knew we were okay now. Dogs don't care if your world collapsed. They just want breakfast and a walk and maybe a bit of your sandwich. I started going outside again. Rejoined my local gym, a different one. Obviously, No chance of running into yoga class Judas. Took up boxing. There's something incredibly cathartic about hitting a heavy bag when you've got 6 months of betrayal sitting in your chest. And then came the weirdest part of all. I stopped feeling afraid. Afraid of bumping into her. Afraid of what people thought. Afraid that I wasn't enough. That last one was the hardest. Because when someone cheats on you, they don't just break your heart. They mess with your reality. You start wondering if the version of you they saw is who you really are. But the truth is, their choices say more about them than they ever did about you. Lisa didn't cheat because I was lacking. She cheated because she was. One day, I found the old wedding photo album buried in a drawer. I opened it, looked at our smiles, our vows, our dumb inside jokes scribbled in margins. And you know what? I felt nothing. Not rage, not nostalgia, just closure. I closed it, put it back, and finally, breathed like a man who wasn't looking over his shoulder anymore. If I could sit across from the guy I was 6 months ago, the version of me staring at that second phone, jaw clenched, heart free falling into his stomach, I'd only need 5 minutes. 5 minutes to say, hey man, this isn't the end, it's the beginning. You just don't know it yet. I'd tell him, you're not crazy for noticing the little things, the changed passwords, the fake gym obsession, the coldness that crept in like fuck. You're not weak for loving someone who betrayed you. Love isn't the failure. Their choices are. And most of all, you're going to be okay. Actually, scratch that. You're going to be better. Because I am. Better than I was when I was putting up with half-hearted affection, emotional manipulation, and flat-out lies disguised as just stress. Better than I was when I thought staying silent made me strong. Better than I was when I convinced myself that relationships are hard mint. You have to swallow your gut instinct. To anyone else reading this who's going through something similar, maybe you just found the texts. Maybe you're still in the numb stage, staring at your ceiling at 3 a.m. wondering if it's really happening. Or maybe you're stuck in the worst part, the what-ifs. Let me tell you the hard truth with zero sugarcoating. If they lie to your face while you're loving them at your most vulnerable, if they choose thrill over loyalty, if they let you carry the weight of a crumbling relationship while they're building a secret life, they don't deserve your tears. They don't deserve your grace. And they sure as hell don't deserve your silence. You're allowed to be angry. You're allowed to grieve. You're allowed to rebuild yourself on your terms. And when the day comes, because it will come, that you no longer flinch at their name, or smell, or stupid Spotify playlist you used to share, that's the day you'll realize they didn't break you. They just made room for something better. So life was calm. Like, suspiciously calm. Charlie was thriving. I was hitting the gym regularly. I'd even started dating casually, nothing serious, just meeting people who didn't lie to my face while texting their affair partner under the table. Then it happened. Late one night, I'm scrolling mindlessly in bed. My phone lights up with a name I hadn't seen in weeks. The digital ghost of mistakes past. Lisa. I stared at it for a second like it was a bomb. Part of me wanted to just delete it and go to sleep. Another part, the one that craves closure even when we swear we don't need it, opened it. The message? Hey, I know I'm the last person you want to hear from, and I don't expect a response, but I've been doing a lot of thinking lately. I messed up. I know that. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. Not for you to forgive me. Just because you deserve to hear it. It wasn't long. It wasn't dramatic. It didn't beg. And weirdly, it didn't sting. I waited a while before deciding what to do. Not because I was unsure, but because I wanted to make sure I didn't respond from a place of emotion. I've learned that silence can be power, but sometimes the right words can set you even freer. So I wrote back. I appreciate the message. I don't hate you. I just don't know who you were. And that hurts more than anything. I loved you deeply, and you lied to me without flinching. I'm not carrying that with me anymore. Take care of yourself. And that was it. She replied once more. You were a good husband. I didn't deserve you. I didn't respond, because finally, I didn't need anything more from her. Not an explanation, not redemption, not guilt. The closure didn't come from her apology. It came from me, choosing peace over bitterness, from realizing that healing isn't loud. It's not some fireworks moment. It's waking up and realizing you don't care anymore. Not in a cold way, in a freeing way. Okay, so let's talk about something people don't tell you when you go through heartbreak. You'll laugh again. And the first time you really do, it'll hit you like, oh damn, I'm still in here. That moment for me came in the weirdest, most unromantic way possible. At a trivia night at a bar I almost didn't go to. A coworker, one of the few people who stuck by me through the mess, kept inviting me to these weekly trivia nights. I kept turning it down, mostly because I didn't want to sit across from people asking how I've been, with that sympathetic head tilt like I'd lost a puppy instead of a whole marriage. But eventually, I caved. It was cold out. I had nothing else going on. Charlie was passed out with a carrot in his mouth, no joke. And I figured, why not? So I went, sat at a table with people I barely knew, sipped a beer I didn't really want, and zoned out while the host shouted things like, "Category: Obscure 90s sitcoms." Then it happened. Someone on our team shouted an answer with so much confidence. Paul Rudd starred in Frasier, that I choked on my drink. Not a little chuckle, not a polite giggle. I straight up snorted beer through my nose laughing. It hurt. It was messy. People stared. And I didn't care. Because for the first time in months, it wasn't forced. I wasn't pretending to be okay. I was okay. Or getting there. Afterward, we all got food. Talked about dumb stuff. One of the girls at the table, not in a flirty way, just casual, said, "You're funnier than you look." I took that as a compliment. Because frankly, my emotional baggage probably aged me 5 years. That night, walking home, I realized something important. I'm not broken. I'm bruised. But healing doesn't mean going back to who I was. It means becoming someone better, wiser, stronger, someone who won't ignore red flags, someone who knows what he brings to the table. And man, I bring one hell of a dog and an impressive knowledge of obscure sitcom trivia now. So, about a month after my awakening, I met someone. I wasn't looking. Let me make that clear. Dating apps still felt like landmines, and I had zero interest in repeating history. But sometimes, the universe throws you a curveball that doesn't blow up your life. Sometimes, it just opens a window. Her name was Jenna. We met through a friend of a friend situation. Casual get-together at someone's apartment, too many chips and bad red wine. One of those nights where everyone ends up talking over each other about nothing and everything at once. She was sitting on the floor, back against the couch, wearing a hoodie that said, "Emotionally unavailable," but cute about it. She was holding a vinyl record and arguing passionately about why Fleetwood Mac's Tusk is better than Rumors. I disagreed. She didn't hold it against me. We got to talking, first about music, then about everything else. It was easy. No pressure, no weird energy. Just real conversation. That kind you forgot you missed until someone reminds you what it feels like to be heard. Later that week, she invited me over to her place to redeem myself by picking a vinyl from her collection and making dinner while we listened to it. Yes, I picked Rumors. Yes, she roasted me for it the entire night. We didn't talk about exes, or trauma, or baggage. Not at first, but eventually it came up. I told her the story, the phone, the affair, the gaslighting, the dog custody battle, which, let's be honest, was the main event. I expected that shift in energy, the polite nod, the distant look. Instead, she said, "You didn't deserve that. But damn, I'm glad you survived it." No pity. No, you poor thing. Just calm, confident acknowledgement. Like someone who wasn't going to fix me. Just walk with me while I figured it out. That night, when she kissed me goodbye at the door, it wasn't fireworks. It was something better. It felt safe. That's the thing no one tells you after betrayal. You don't need to be swept off your feet. You need someone who helps you stand again. Jenna wasn't a rebound. She wasn't a distraction. She was a reminder. That love doesn't have to be chaos. That connection doesn't have to come with conditions. That starting over doesn't mean starting from scratch. It didn't happen on a dramatic anniversary. It wasn't triggered by a "look how far I've come" post or some Hallmark self-love epiphany. It was a Tuesday. I was walking Charlie. Same route we always take through the neighborhood park. Same time we always go. He was on his usual mission to sniff every tree like it held government secrets, and I was sipping bad gas station coffee, wearing mismatched socks because laundry is still not my superpower. And then it hit me. That old ache. The one that used to live somewhere behind my ribs. The one that flared up at the smell of her perfume or the sight of a certain Netflix thumbnail. Gone. Not numbed. Not buried. Just gone. It was like I realized, mid-sip, oh, I haven't thought about her in weeks. Not out of bitterness. Not from trying. Just because life, this new, weird, warm, real version of it, had finally taken up all the space she used to occupy. That night, I sat on the couch, Charlie snoring beside me, Jenna humming softly in the kitchen as she made popcorn for a movie neither of us would finish. We talked too much, and I thought, this is it. This is the win. Not revenge. Not getting over her faster than she got over me. Not flexing on Instagram or posting cryptic captions about growth. The win was this quiet, ordinary night, where I was safe, where I was whole, where I wasn't looking over my shoulder anymore. I used to think healing would feel like a movie montage, dramatic, tearful, all set to moody acoustic guitar. But healing? Real healing? It's walking your dog, drinking mediocre coffee, laughing with someone who doesn't make you doubt your worth, and realizing you didn't just survive, you rebuilt. Just when you think life's finally hit cruise control, dog's happy, girlfriend's awesome, laundry is almost caught up, the universe tosses you a curveball straight from the ghost of red flags past. It was a Monday morning. I was clearing out spam while half asleep, deleting emails from sketchy marketing gurus and websites I definitely didn't subscribe to, when I saw it. Subject line, I owe you this. From Lisa. My stomach didn't drop this time. No cold sweat, no flashbacks, just a raised eyebrow and a pause over the delete button. But then I thought, why not? I've survived worse. And I opened it. Here's the gist of what she wrote. I know it's been months, and I've thought about messaging you so many times, but didn't want to reopen wounds you were healing from. I don't expect a reply. I don't expect anything, honestly. I've been in therapy. Real therapy. Not the surface-level stuff I used to pretend to care about. I've had to face a lot of ugly truths about who I was in our marriage, why I lied, why I ran instead of fixing anything. You loved me in a way I didn't know how to receive. I sabotaged that. You were kind, you were patient, and I turned your loyalty into something disposable. There's no excuse for what I did. I won't insult you with one, but I hope one day you can look back at our time together and know that the way you loved me wasn't a mistake. I hope you're happy, and I'm sorry. No drama, no manipulative guilt trip, no subtle fishing for closure, or just one more conversation. Just accountability. And you know what? It didn't change anything. It didn't crack me open. It didn't undo what happened. But it did something small and unexpected. It softened the last hard edge. That last little bitterness I didn't realize I was still carrying. The what if she never gets it? Finally melted. She got it. Too late, sure, but she got it. I didn't reply, not because I hated her, because I didn't need to. That chapter closed a long time ago, but it felt right to read it. Not for her, for me. If you'd asked me a year ago where I thought I'd be by now, I'd have probably said something like, still trying to figure it out. Or worse, still broken. But here's the truth. The real truth I didn't know I was heading toward through all the chaos. Lies, late night crying, cold silences, and stolen closure. I'm not broken. I'm rebuilt, stronger, wiser, softer in the right places and harder in the ones that needed armor. Life now isn't some perfect, polished rom-com ending. It's better because it's real. It's mornings where I wake up next to someone who makes me feel safe, not suspicious. It's Charlie stretched out on the couch like he pays rent. It's a playlist filled with new music, not the one I shared with Lisa, not the one I clung to while mourning what we had, but a new one Jenna and I made while dancing around the kitchen with greasy pizza fingers and red wine teeth. And it's quiet, but not empty, peaceful. I used to regret everything. The wasted years, the trust one gave so freely, the way I ignored my instincts to avoid conflict. But now, I don't regret a damn thing, because those mistakes, they taught me how to recognize real love, real effort, real partnership. Lisa taught me what betrayal looks like. Vanessa taught me what solidarity feels like. Charlie taught me what loyalty actually means. And Jenna? She's teaching me what it looks like to build something from scratch. Not as damaged people trying to patch each other up, but as whole humans who choose each other every day, flaws and all. So if you're reading this, whether you're just discovering the texts, or you're in the thick of it, or you're sitting in the wreckage wondering who you even are anymore, hear this. You're not alone. You're not broken. You're not stupid for loving someone who didn't love you back the right way. And this ending? It's not your ending. It's your beginning. And trust me, it's going to be one hell of a comeback. The end. Or, just the start.